Have you ever walked into a room and immediately forgotten what you were about to do? Or searched for a very simple word and felt it slip away at the exact moment you needed it? Many people over 60 assume this is normal. They think it is simply part of getting older. But in some cases, the brain may be trying to send a quiet signal that almost no one recognizes in time. Brain fog does not appear overnight. It often begins with small details. More fragile concentration, a heavy feeling in the head, mental fatigue that appears early in the morning, difficulty following a conversation, or forgetting where you placed your keys. These symptoms may seem harmless, but they can suggest that the brain is not receiving everything it needs to function at its best. Many people look for complicated solutions, expensive supplements, miracle programs, medications they do not fully understand. But researchers have observed that in some cases, one very simple and common food may play a surprising role. And the most interesting part is that it is probably already in your kitchen. I am talking about a vegetable that millions of people across Canada and the United States eat without realizing what may happen in the brain in the hours that follow. Yes, I am talking about broccoli, but pay close attention. The most surprising detail is not the broccoli itself. The real secret is what happens inside brain cells when certain natural compounds in this food are activated the right way. In a moment, you will understand why neurologists and researchers have become increasingly interested in this mechanism. Broccoli contains natural compounds from the cruciferous vegetable family. When prepared properly, they may help activate a substance called sulforaphane. The name may sound complicated, but the concept is very simple. Imagine your brain as a city. Every day, it produces energy, but at the same time, it generates waste and irritating substances. When this waste accumulates, the streets become congested, nerve signals slow down, memory becomes less precise, the mind feels cloudy. This is where sulforaphane has captured the attention of scientists. According to numerous studies, this compound may help the body activate its natural defense systems against oxidative stress and silent inflammation, two processes associated with cognitive decline and brain fog. Many people feel no pain. They notice no obvious symptom. Yet inside the brain, a mild but persistent inflammation may be present, making it harder over time to maintain mental clarity, attention, and quick thinking. But there is something almost no one knows. Simply eating broccoli occasionally may not be enough to obtain a potential benefit, and this is where many people make a mistake. They overcook it. They prepare it in a way that reduces the very compounds that made this vegetable so interesting to researchers, and that can completely change the result. Before I explain the most common mistake and what you can do in a simple way, there is another important detail. Some studies suggest that sulforaphane may influence not only memory, but also concentration, mental clarity, and protection of nerve cells. And this is why many people are beginning to look at broccoli in a completely different way. When I talk about protecting the brain, many people imagine something abstract. But in reality, everything begins in tiny structures, invisible to the naked eye, working constantly to keep nerve cells alive and functioning. Each neuron is like a miniature power plant. It produces energy, transmits information, builds memories, and coordinates thoughts, emotions, and movement. But this constant activity also generates waste products. If the body cannot neutralize them effectively, they may gradually damage brain cells. It is a slow and silent process. At first, you do not notice it. Then you begin to lose track of conversations. You feel less sharp. You need more time to focus. You read a page and realize you retained almost nothing. Many people believe this is inevitable, but physicians and researchers have observed something unexpected. The brain has natural defense systems that can be supported through nutrition. One of the most important is a mechanism that helps cells produce protective enzymes against oxidative stress and inflammation. This is exactly where sulforaphane from broccoli has attracted the attention of the scientific community. In simple terms, this substance may help the body activate its own cleanup crews, reducing the buildup of molecules that can interfere with communication between neurons. Imagine cleaning fogged-up glasses. The objects do not change. You simply begin to see them more clearly. In a similar way, when the brain functions in a less inflamed environment, many people report greater mental clarity, improved concentration, and less cognitive fatigue. But that is not the only factor. There is another element closely linked to memory that few people associate with broccoli: circulation. Although the brain represents a small portion of body weight, it consumes an enormous amount of oxygen and nutrients. If blood vessels are not functioning well, nerve cells receive less energy, and when energy declines, thinking slows down. That is why researchers are so interested in foods rich in protective plant compounds. Broccoli also contains vitamin C, vitamin K, folate, and other nutrients that contribute to overall well-being, including vascular and metabolic health. This detail may be especially important if you experience morning brain fog or feel as if your mind takes a long time to turn on. But I must tell you something essential. Not everyone responds in the same way. Broccoli is not a miracle cure. It does not erase memory problems overnight. However, when included in a balanced diet and healthy lifestyle, it may provide meaningful support. And this is where many people begin to notice subtle changes. Greater clarity, more organized thoughts, less confusion, greater ease in finding the right words. And there is one preparation mistake that can make an enormous difference in its potential benefit. The most common mistake is cooking broccoli for too long. When it becomes overly soft and loses its bright green color, some of its most interesting compounds may be significantly reduced. In other words, broccoli remains a healthy food, but it may offer less potential benefit compared with a gentler preparation. Many people make this mistake without realizing it. They assume that the longer it cooks, the better. In reality, steaming broccoli for just a few minutes helps preserve more of the natural compounds that have attracted scientific interest. And here comes another surprising detail. The way you combine broccoli with other foods may also matter. For example, some people add extra virgin olive oil and a small amount of mustard or arugula. These ingredients contain substances that may help convert broccoli precursors into more biologically active forms. This is not a magic formula. It is simply the way nature and food chemistry work together. Researchers have also become concerned about another issue. Many adults over 60 eat very few cruciferous vegetables. This means the brain may not regularly receive certain plant compounds that can help support normal cellular defense mechanisms over time. The problem is not one single day. The problem is what happens over months and years. Small daily habits can add up to meaningful effects. A diet high in refined sugar, irregular sleep, physical inactivity, and low vegetable intake may create a less favorable environment for memory and concentration. But there is good news. You do not need to transform your entire life in 1 week. The brain often responds better to consistency than to extremes. Adding broccoli 2 or 3 times per week alongside a balanced diet, regular physical activity, and quality sleep may be a simple but meaningful step. Many people tell me that brain fog frightens them more than almost any other symptom, because feeling less mentally sharp can feel like losing control. There is fear of forgetting loved ones' names, fear of losing independence, fear that the brain is shutting down. I understand that concern, but the brain is remarkably dynamic. It can adapt, protect itself, and respond positively when it receives the right support. And this is true at any age. The biggest mistake is waiting until symptoms become obvious. Many people begin to worry only when forgetfulness becomes frequent, concentration declines significantly, or brain fog starts interfering with daily life. But the brain often sends signals much earlier. A word that does not come immediately, a book that requires more effort to read, a sense of confusion upon waking, mental fatigue that feels disproportionate to the day's activities. Many people assume this is normal. While aging does involve natural changes, that does not mean there is nothing you can do. And that is the most important message today. Broccoli is not a miracle cure. It does not replace medical evaluation, eliminate the underlying causes of cognitive problems, or guarantee immediate results. However, it is one of the most studied foods for its potential role in supporting the brain's natural defense systems. And above all, it reminds us of one fundamental truth. Brain health is built through small actions repeated over time. Gentler cooking, more vegetables on the plate, less refined sugar, regular walks, quality sleep, mental stimulation, social connection. These are the true allies of memory. If you would like to try, start simply. Eat broccoli 2 or 3 times per week, preferably lightly steamed and drizzled with extra virgin olive oil. Incorporate it into a broader routine that supports brain health. And pay attention to your body, your mental clarity, your energy, your ability to focus, because even a small improvement can make a meaningful difference in your quality of life. I am Dr. William Bennet, and my goal is to help you understand your body's signals in a clear, scientific, and reassuring way. If you have noticed episodes of brain fog or difficulty concentrating, write the word memory in the comments. I would be glad to know how long you have been experiencing these changes. Share this video with someone you care about. Sometimes a simple piece of information can help someone take care of their brain before symptoms become more significant. And if you would like reliable content on memory, concentration, and brain health after 60, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Always remember one thing: the brain changes every day, and every day you can do something meaningful to protect it.